Crouch pumps once, is in trouble, eludes a tackle, gets out of the end zone. He's to the 5, he's to the 10, Crouch to the 15, out across the 20, Crouch to the 25, out across the 30, 35, 40, look out, he could go, he's to the 40, he's to the 30, he's to the 20, he's to the 10, he's all the way!
Right on the end. The snap is down. The kick is up. The kick is on its way, and the kick is good! He bangs it in there! 57 yards out of school record to put the Huskers in front, 33-31. To the near side. Kellogg gets a shotgun snap. Final play of the game. Ron waiting for the wideouts to get downfield. Launches the throw down toward the goal line. Going up. Ball tipped in the air. Caught! Touchdown! Jordan Westerkamp! Nebraska wins the game on the final play of the contest! Oh, baby!
Oh, my goodness! Oh, my goodness! What a scene in Lincoln, baby! Woo!
Deep for Nebraska. Here's Wiley's kick. It's high. It holds up there. Rogers takes the ball at the 30. He's hit and got away. Back upfield to the 35, to the 40. He's to the 45. He's to the 50, to the 45, to the 40, to the 35, to the 20, to the 10. He's all the way home. Holy moly. Man, woman, and child did that. Put him in the aisle. Johnny the Jet Rogers just tore them loose from their shoes.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome to 5 Points of Contact, because Brian Anderson did us this nice intro, and then he went off and ran off and left. And he's out there somewhere with a band touring as a backup guitarist, and stopped writing for CornNation, and I haven't heard from him. And I'm here with Drew Schneider, who is the co-manager of we're playing Purdue, right? Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, Hammer and Rails, co-manager of Hammer and Rails, the SBNation Purdue site. He's here to talk about everything Purdue, our enemy this week. Drew, did you like the intro with all the plays from back when Nebraska was like good at football?
You know, I did. I graduated from Clemson, actually, so we were good at the same time there for a while in the 80s.
Clemson. We played them. Was it LSU? We played them the Sugar Bowl like 1982. Dave Remington. I think it was against Clemson. Where you know who Dave Remington is?
Yeah, he's got the award named after him.
Right. He was called offsides as a center, I think twice in a bowl game. Anyway.
That would be Clemson's national championship winning 1981-82 season. I think we beat Nebraska and jumped up.
And then Danny Ford got in NCAA trouble. So that's your ilk. That is who you are, sir.
It is.
We're just going to start there. Okay. Where are we going to start? Let's start with your new coach.
Okay.
Ryan Walters, he was a defensive coordinator at Illinois the previous season. He hates Nebraska. And he says this. What the thing is he hates Nebraska. He likes blue and gold teams, or black and gold teams. I'm sorry, that wasn't intended. Earlier in the year we played a black and gold team, Colorado, and everything was personal. And he said that I don't like Nebraska, and everybody's just kind of dropped this. And we need more drama. There's not a lot of drama around this, and nobody's picked up on it. So
yeah, so. He doesn't like Nebraska because, I think he coached in Missouri and played at Colorado. So I think he's been at some Nebraska-hating old Big 12 axes to grind.
So what do you think of him so far? I mean, Jeff Brom left. Jeff Brom went off to Louisville. He started like 6-0, 6-1, ripped your hearts out.
Jeff Brom to Louisville didn't particularly rip my heart out. That was always a foregone conclusion. You're just sort of waiting for the other shoe to drop there. But, Ryan Walters, it's hard to tell, I mean, Nebraska, y'all know better than anybody. You can make the right coaching hire and it turn out terribly. So I think he was the right hire. I have no idea if he's going to work out or not. With the same way, I don't think anybody else has any ideas. I like what he has going on. I like the staff he put together. And we definitely have the buffest coach in the Big Ten. So I feel like that at least wins us something. Like if it came down to a fight between head coaches, I think we would win. And so I'm actually proposing that this season is just a Royal Rumble Big Ten championship game with coaches. So I think we got.
You realize Bert would just be a tank.
Oh, we got to get Bert over the top rope somehow. That's going to be a joint effort. I feel like that's one where 6 or 7 guys got to just hoist him over. So
I was thinking of Overwatch, where you got that one tank that rolls around on a giant ball. Anyway, that's probably 90% of people don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Okay, so Ryan Walters, new coach, Graham Harrell, offensive coordinator, is running the air raid. Is he running the same air raid as Mike Leach is? But he's more power run integrated in with it than just pure air raid.
Yeah, no, he runs some of those air raid routes, the short passing game, slants, the quick outs, the swing passes, the wide receiver screens, but he does incorporate a lot more of he'll run power a lot, pull a couple the guard and the tackle and run behind them. They do some outside zone running in it with sort of both of our running backs. So it's the air raid. A lot of the air raid concepts in the short and intermediate game, but with a lot more of the run involved.
So what is it with Purdue that they do this? I mean, this goes all the way back to Joe Tiller, Drew Brees. I'm forgetting another quarterback that was way back then that was really good. Yeah. It's just ingrained. It's kind of like Nebraska football. We go, we need to run the option, and it's 30 years ago. And I mean, Joe Tiller was probably 30 years ago now, wasn't he?
Yeah. Oh my God. Don't say that. But you know what? Looking at this, I definitely had hair when Joe Tiller was coaching it there. So it's been a while, but yeah, I think Purdue fans, Indiana's a basketball state. We like the action. We need to keep the attention going. The slow run game just doesn't do it for us. I think that's that's the problem. They need more action on the field. So the basketball on grass offense sort of fits what the fan base is looking for.
Does it? It honestly does, doesn't it? Yeah. I mean, is it really? And what do you think of Graham Harrell so far? I mean, is there any judgment you can make after Nebraska lost to Minnesota on the road, Colorado on the road, and half the fan base. Okay, maybe 10% of the fan base, but they were really loud. Wanted Matt Rule fired right now.
Of course, there's always that 10% there that are just ready to fire everyone at any moment. Yeah, I mean, Graham Harrell is again, he's another one of those young guys. Is sort of a wait and see as well. He's having to scheme around a lot right now. Jeff Brom didn't leave much in the cupboard. It certainly, when he left Purdue, it certainly looked like he had built that team up to really sort of sell out and peak without much consideration for anything that came afterwards. Almost like he kind of thought he was going to maybe end up somewhere else.
So you've got a new quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Guinness. That's what you've got.
This is actually Terrapin white chocolate moohoo, fresh from the brewery, Athens, Georgia, baby.
Oh my God. Well, people want to know. I don't drink anymore, but the guests or my other co-hosts are usually drinking something, and people like to know. So it's a local brewery.
There it is.
In Athens, Georgia.
Athens, Georgia, Terrapin. Good stuff.
Okay, new quarterback. Right? Hudson Card.
Hudson Card.
Charlie Jones, the top receiver, is gone.
Yep.
Devin Mockobee is back.
He is.
And tell us about Hudson Card.
So Hudson Card is really talented. He was at Texas originally. He's from the Austin area. It's sort of we're trying to replay the Drew Brees story here. He's when he's healthy, he is a dual threat quarterback. He has not been healthy in the last couple of games, so that part of his game has been gone. The bye week, I think you're going to see more of what Hudson Card should look like. He's good on the run, outside the pocket. He can really deliver strikes. He'll change his arm angles a lot, sort of like the Patrick Mahomes. He'll come 3/4 over the top, side, like whatever it takes to get the ball in. He's got a good snap on it. His decision making this year has been a mixed bag. I think a lot of it is like Purdue doesn't have a lot of playmakers, so I think some of it is he's trying to force plays sometimes that aren't there because somebody needs to do something. And so I think he's got caught up in that a little bit. He's thrown some tough interceptions, like 7 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. A couple of those were just arm punts. I like him. I mean, he's a top 50, top 60 high school recruit. And so as far as Purdue goes, talent-wise, that's the best you can ask for. It's the best Purdue's had in a long time. Just still adjusting to the offense a little bit. But I think long-term, I think he's a good fit for what Purdue wants to do.
How many years does he have left?
I believe I don't know about his COVID year. I think he has 2, possibly 3.
And then you've got the Mockobee kid is the crazy legs kid with the legs and arms all over the place that nobody wants to tackle.
Yeah.
Now he's had some fumble issues.
He has had some fumble issues, so that's sort of baked into the cake there. He does the crazy legs thing. When he starts doing it, though, he starts getting those arms swinging up. And then, teams watch tape. They watch the tape from last year. They watch him flailing his arms, and now everybody that gets within 2 feet of him are just punching at the ball. So, and the more he fumbles, the more people punch at the ball. It's one of those sort of tough deals where those initial fumbles are probably causing a lot more fumbles than you would actually have in the game. But now people are just looking for it. And so it's one of those tough things where I think it's just his natural running style. So one of those deals where you can try to coach it out of him, but when somebody hits him and his brain sort of goes into that, like, what have I been doing since I've been 5? He starts moving those arms and getting his elbows up, and people are just coming underneath him and just punching the ball out.
So receivers, like I said, Charlie Jones is gone. I think you had another guy last year that was like second.
Payne Durham, the tight end, is gone. Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Any replacements that we need to know, or we should be? There's got to be somebody on your offense we should be terrified of.
Okay, there's a couple guys that you keep an eye on. So Tyrone Tracy Jr., he was a wide receiver. He's at Iowa, and I have no idea why anybody would ever sign with Iowa to play on the offense at wide receiver. He and Charlie Jones were both Iowa refugees. So Tyrone Tracy, he's been hurt. He actually overtook Mockobee at the top of the depth chart before he was injured. He's got an ankle, so you might see him in the bye week. He's Purdue's kick returner, returned one for a touchdown the first game. In the backfield, he's a really good one-cut runner, so when they run that outside zone, he's better than Mockobee at just picking that line, and then as soon as he sees that crease, just sticking his foot in and going. He was a high school running back. Played wide receiver at Iowa, then transferred to Purdue, played wide receiver under Jeff Brom, played a little tailback, and this year we came in and we said, no, we're going to see if you can go back to when you were Mr. Indiana football. And he's been great. It's amazing. A guy, hasn't played in that position in 5 years, comes in and really takes that number 1 spot. So watch for him if he's available. I think Ryan Walters in the press conference says he's been practicing, so we'll see about him. Deion Burst is the other guy. Out of everybody on the offensive side of Purdue, probably outside of Hudson Card, he's the guy you look at, and I like. I also write for Clemson and Kansas State, and he's the guy that you say that guy could play for any of those teams. Like, he could play anywhere as a slot receiver. He's a real explosive guy with the ball in his hands. He's been hurt his first couple of years, so this is really sort of his breakout year. And he's been good for Purdue. He's real quick twitch. Problem is he's a small guy, and Purdue doesn't really have that deep threat on the outside with a bigger receiver. So a lot of times Hudson Card is throwing his deep balls to like a 5'10", like 180-pound guy. And I mean, Burks does a decent job, but he's not, if you're going to do that, you need to be Steve Smith Jr., and he's not Steve Smith Jr. So that's been a bit of an issue. But Deion Burks, Tyrone Tracy, they're the those are the guys with juice on the Purdue offense.
So when you look at, I mean, let's face it, Nebraska's. What do you think of Nebraska's offense? When I say Nebraska offense, do you quake in your boots?
I'm not quaking my boots. Actually, as a Purdue fan, I kind of do, because the one thing that we've done all season is just get gouged by the quarterback run game. And so when I watch the Nebraska offense, I have just nightmares of Garrett Schrader, of Syracuse, just dominating the game. And that's what I am concerned about. The Syracuse quarterback went ham on Purdue. We just could not get him on the ground. I think he had 3 touchdowns, over 100 yards. That has been an issue all season. So I watched that Nebraska offense, and I watched your tall, Swedish dude just galloping through the secondary. Looks a little worked up. Ryan Walters is actually an interesting thing that happened at Purdue is Ryan Walters took over the defensive play calling like 2 games ago, and some of that has been cleared up. So he basically took over from the guy who brought in to be defensive coordinator. I mean, I guess if it's your defense and just not playing well, you kind of need to do something. Yeah.
So moving to the defensive side of the ball. I mean, who do you have? Was it George Karlaftis, way gone? Mm-hmm. Is there anybody there? There's a younger Karlaftis.
There is. He's our middle linebacker now. He's taken over at middle linebacker. So Yanni Karlaftis, who's a guy who's a 4-star recruit, lived in the shadows of Ross-Ade Stadium, grew up there. So obviously George went to Purdue. Yanni's taken him a couple of years. He's been injured a lot, and then we just couldn't figure out if he was a defensive end or one of those rover, star guys. And we finally figured out that he was the middle linebacker. And our middle linebacker got hurt in game 4 against Illinois, and Yanni came in, and he's taken over that position. So Yanni Karlaftis in the middle. You've got the 2 ends, Nick Scorton and Kydron Jenkins. Purdue actually has one of the, as far as stats go, better pass rushes in the nation. And that's because of those two defensive or 2 outside linebackers. Scorton is just a giant dude. He's 6'5", 280, fast guy, sophomore. He's out on one edge. Kydron Jenkins is on the other edge. He played that sort of extra defensive lineman star position last year for Jeff Brom, and now he's an outside linebacker, and he's been playing really well. And so that's really where Purdue does well, is they've got a couple of guys. They get in the backfield and make tackles for loss. They get the quarterback on the ground, but they also give up a lot of big plays. Because the secondary's gone. There's nothing in the secondary.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Nebraska's passing offense has just been, doesn't exist really.
That's good for Purdue, because our secondary is we've got one guy, Markevius. He's a transfer from Ole Miss. He's kind of our one cornerback. Then we started true freshman, and I think the next guy off the bench was playing wide receiver in spring football. And we also have a JUCO guy. And so it's it's really not a whole lot of numbers or talent out there at corner. So playing a team that just can't throw the ball is good for Purdue, because teams that can throw the ball pick the secondary apart. Fresno State did that earlier in the year and just sort of beat Purdue 7-yard slant routes at a time. It's a really interesting matchup of two first year head coaches. Obviously, Rule is the big name after what he did at Baylor, and maybe not so much what he did for the Panthers. And then Walters was as the Broyles Award winner last year, running his sort of funky defense. So I think it's sort of Purdue's strength on defense. If there's a strength of stopping the run, and obviously Nebraska's is running the ball. So I think it's a pretty solid strength on strength matchup.
No, I thought you guys were bad at stopping the run because you ranked like 90th or something, aren't you?
Yeah.
But basically what you're saying is Ryan Walters took over, so some of that's been cleaned up.
Some of that's been cleaned up. The run fits have been better the last couple games. I mean, they hung in with Ohio State as much as the 41 to whatever score. It looks awful. The Purdue missed like 3 or 4 field goals. They had a lot of drives. It wasn't like Ohio State. It was like 3 and out, touchdown, 3 and out, touchdown. Purdue is really competitive on the field, not on the scoreboard in that one. And so with Walters, behind the sticks there on defense, he took over actually at the Illinois games. I think he did not want to get beat by Burt, and came in, got that first win. And so, it's just this game is going to be. I really feel like this game is going to come down to turnovers for Purdue and Nebraska. It's who shoots himself in the feet the least amount.
All right, we're going to take some comments. Living in Omaha, David Mabney says, I am still waiting for the CornNation hair care, beauty, and skincare merch.
Oh.
Yeah.
I saved so much money on hair care.
I do not.
See?
I do
Look
not.
at that.
And for some reason, people are thinking I need to release a hair care, skincare.
It's nice hair. I would rock. I used to have beautiful long hair before it all fell out. So I feel you.
I have had people say you need to shave your head, and I refuse because I have a large dent in my head that I don't even know where it came from. Okay. Minnie. Hi, Minnie. Aaron says, Aaron, maybe we should have a chapstick line too.
Ooh.
Is there some kind of implication there, Minnie? It's Matt? You know what? Have you noticed this? Have you watched Nebraska football, Drew?
I've watched a little Nebraska football, yes.
Okay, what you need to look out for is the danger of Matt Rule licking his lips constantly, because if he's doing this, the offense is usually playing pretty well.
Oh, that's the tell.
Yeah.
So if he's at the table and he starts licking his lips, he's got a good hand.
Fred Sacco with who else was good at basketball on grass? Randy Gregory.
And Randy Gregory was originally committed to Purdue.
Purdue? Really? I didn't know that. Okay. Aaron Ken comes in with, we used to run the fumble Ruski, but now we only run the first part of that play. This is what I deal with all the time, by the way.
Oh, well, that's okay, because Purdue has just been laying the ball on the ground all year, so I totally understand the fumble issues.
Okay. Brian Anderson, the guy said that left me. Hi, Brian. How you doing? Brian Anderson says, watching Iowa lose had me slightly aroused for the first time in months.
Well, good for Brian. Good for him.
What did you think of that call? What did you think? Did you watch the Minnesota-Iowa game?
I saw. I was in Virginia, I think, camping, but I think I actually caught the end of that one at a brewery. So yeah, no, I thought that was hilarious. I wanted both teams to lose. I think Kurt Ferentz is a plague on college football, and Minnesota's coach is weirdo. So I really had no skin in that game, but I really felt like that was the most painful way Iowa could possibly lose. So I'm down for
That's
that.
true.
I'm down for that. I'm down for the suffering for my enemies.
Oh my God. Well, since you mentioned that, what do you think the most painful way for Nebraska to lose this game would be? Keep in mind, we went through the Scott Frost years.
I know.
We
I
lost
know,
in many painful years.
do y'all feel pain anymore? I feel like
No.
do you feel
Just
pain
look at the
anymore?
TV and kind of stare off into the distance, like
just
know,
sort of. Oh, I think
there
the
is
most
no God kind of thing.
I think the most painful way for y'all to lose this one is gonna be. I'm gonna say maybe a 2-minute drill pick six. Dylan Thiedemann, Purdue's freshman phenom at safety, picks off the pass. Pick six.
Oh my God!
That's gonna be the most painful way to lose it. I think this time.
That sounds painful. Okay, let's see. Fred Sacco again with House Purdue's offense with wet balls.
I mean,
on field.
It's bad with dry balls, man. I don't know. It couldn't be any worse. I mean, we cannot hold on to it. Like nobody can hold on to it. So Hudson Card's just dropping it all over the place. Devin Mockobee is fumbling all over the place. So y'all might get some fumbles. That's be ready to jump on that pile. I think Purdue's has very practiced at recovering fumbles and diving on the football. So, I hope you all practice that because we have been practicing it all year long.
Okay. Have you seen the weather forecast?
I have not. I can only assume it's not good.
It's not going. They're thinking that it might be bad enough that could potentially snow. Now, I don't know if somebody was joking when they said that, but it should be rainy and crappy and the first really crappy game day of the fall season. So it's a perfect late October game, I guess, for the Big Ten West, which needs help.
Oh yeah.
We have ugly football, and that's just how it's going to go. And so they're going to play probably in really ugly weather.
Actually, it's funny. My wife was just in the room asking Google what the weather in Chicago is going to be like this weekend because she's going to be at a conference in Chicago. And let me tell you, all our windows are open right now in Athens. It was like 75 today, and the lows are going to be in like the mid, upper 40s, just like perfect weather. And yeah, it was like, oh my God, it's going to be like it might snow. So yeah, I don't know. I feel bad for y'all. I don't know how to deal with that. Actually, I lived in Kansas for a couple of years in Manhattan. And that was as much snow as I ever want to experience in my life again. And so I will just sit here in my swamp and be happy. I think, Hudson Card, he's feeling good. So he's a good runner. I feel like having a mobile quarterback on a wet day is always an advantage. Moggabee's going to fumble it. Hopefully Tyrone Tracy's ready to go. It's sloppy football in it already. So it's probably just still going to be sloppy football.
Okay, we have to get into this because it keeps coming up, and wow, this is where I need a second person. Lloyd, if you want to get another beer, you're welcome to.
Oh, I'm good. I think that's the last one for today.
Lloyd
I'm
Christmas.
on pitch count. I'm on pitch count this Wednesday. I'm on pitch count.
Okay, Lloyd M. Christmas says, "Does Purdue still play calling Michigan style?"
Oh, I hope so. Because we need all the help we can get. I hope we have all the black ops. I think we've got SEAL Team 6 in the stands recording people, and it has not helped. So if we're cheating, we are really doing a terrible job of cheating. So is Michigan because they got caught. Oh man!
Oh my God! Are you following this whole thing?
I am. It's the funniest thing because, I hate Ohio State. I just hate Ohio State so much. But I also hate Michigan, and so watching them this week just go after each other has been very enjoyable for me. Does anybody like Ohio State and Michigan other than Ohio State and Michigan people? Because I find them both just awful.
Well, we've only, as Nebraska people, we've only experienced those two teams for really 10 years or 12 years now. We haven't had decades of dealing with them. So
Ohio State, let me tell you, Ohio State is like Texas A&M if they won football games. So that if you need like a reference of like
Okay.
why you hate Ohio State, they're very much like Texas A&M, but if Texas A&M won and was able to actually talk smack instead of just like being like, we have a lot of money, which is the general way Texas A&M rolls. But I have a degree from Texas A&M, so I can say that.
Really?
I do.
And
I'm all over the map, baby. I'm all over the
What?
map.
You don't seem like a guy that were you young and naive when you went to Texas A&M?
So I went to actually my wife was getting her my wife's a veterinary pathologist and they have a very good vet school at Texas A&M, so she was doing her residency and PhD there, and I got really tired of teaching high school English, and so I entered a grad program, and I have a degree in occupational health and safety. I will never use it. But I will never use it, but it's fun to say that I have a master's, I guess. And so student loan debt's not as fun as it used to be.
Okay, Michigan. I think the funny thing about it is I'm going to touch on this because I really.
Oh, let's talk about Michigan because I really can't stand them either. Jim Harbaugh is such a weirdo.
What shocks me about this is this. I mean, they're Michigan. For my entire life since I was a kid, I heard about Michigan men. We're Michigan man. They're like Texas. I mean, we had to deal with Texas for years. If you went to Texas A&M, you know what I'm talking about. The arrogance, the snippiness, that kind of shit. And, the most of the Michigan people I know aren't that bad, except like when they're together. Whereas Texas people are just like walking by themselves amongst 50 other people and they're still assholes.
Yeah, no, I know. It's, Texas in general. I was glad to escape that state.
But Michigan, they've always been this haughty, we're better than everybody. And now they're caught up in this, it was just stealing signs. Now it's turning it into a whole black ops operation, obviously run and planned and executed by a complete moron that didn't hide anything.
Yeah, he's paying this stuff on his PayPal that you can just like look up or Venmo. Wow. That's poor operation security. I feel like I'm questioning his black ops, credentials there because I don't know how. And that's the thing that everybody's like, oh well, everybody does it, but like, dude, you're getting caught. So if everybody's doing it and you're getting caught, that means you're terrible at doing it, and you deserve it because everybody else has plausible deniability because they're not stupid. But apparently, Michigan is not, and that's like what the third big scandal. Didn't Harbaugh first? He tried to hire Shimmy, what's our Schembechler's kid that backfired on him.
Right.
Because the social media was bad, and they were like, "Oh, we didn't know this guy that we've known our entire life was like this." Weird. Oh wow, the guy, yeah. And then there was Cheeseburger Gate, right? I think.
Right.
Yeah, and now we've got Black Hawk Down operation sign stealing. So Michigan has been very naughty. I feel like they're not living up to the Michigan man standard. But then you sort of go back and look at it and go, maybe that's just all marketing. Maybe Michigan's just had a good marketing team for a while.
I guess the thing that shocks me about it is it's fucking Michigan. Why? Did you really need to do this? Is this how far you needed to go? I mean, Nebraska was going to lose to them, but when I watched that game, I thought, my God, Michigan is crisp. It was just a steamrolling. Now you look back at it and you go, okay.
Yeah, it helps if you know the plays. But I do like the fact that they went to some Georgia games and then Georgia just rolled them in the college football playoff 2 years ago. Like they knew the plays and it didn't matter because they were just rampaging through their. I don't know what Michigan's deal is. Jim Harbaugh is weird. I don't like him. He just seems like a dude I couldn't hang out with. And like I really judge a lot of head coaches like that. Ryan Day is also a dude I don't think I could hang out with. I feel like Matt Rule and I could kick it though, so we're all right.
Okay, some more comments. Okay, Joel tells him, why doesn't the Big Ten have communication helmets to eliminate the sign stealing? That would have to be an NCAA rule. That would have to be at the NCAA rule at level to handle that. And you can't, as a Big Ten conference, have that when, like, I don't know, Houston Baptist doesn't have it, or UTEP doesn't have it. And that's the concern, is every time we make more regulations, we make it more expensive for the schools that don't have enough money to pay for their shit already.
Yeah, and I actually read something about that they were trying to pass that a couple of years ago, and it got shot down for the same reason you're saying, that just the smaller schools are like, we can't, because you also that's another guy you have to employ, because you have to have somebody to click it on and click it off manually. And so 5 seconds or whatever the timing is on the play clock. So it's just, like I said, extra expense for everybody. I mean, it makes sense, but it's just part of college football, man. Like, just do it the regular way. I'm a huge Clemson fan. I write for Clemson's SBNation site, ShakintheSouthland, and we used to steal signs all the time. Brent Venables stole everybody's signs. Everybody knew it, but he was doing it during the game,
right?
And not like, didn't have an assassin in the stands in a ghillie suit and with an iPhone. And so, that's just part of the pageantry of college football, but just don't be dumb. God, like, how are you so dumb?
I think it's beautiful that it just keeps going.
Like, just crime better, do better. Like, do better in your cheating. Just show some pride.
The Michigan fans keep being like, well, it's just sign stealing. Everybody does it. And then it keeps getting worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. And everybody does it. And you got caught. What's wrong with you?
Okay. Brian Anderson comes back with Nebraska versus Purdue equals 2 kids with broken ankles racing to get a lackluster piece of cake.
Ouch. Ouch. That's painful. That's difficult. I will say that I don't believe that is true, because I think this is an important season for both Matt Rule and Ryan Walters, trying to lay a foundation for the future and building that recruiting. And so I think this is an important game. It is. So I feel like the piece of cake is underrated, but maybe the broken ankles part is accurate.
So it's a decent piece. It's like Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah, it's like it's decent. Like there's you want to win this game because you don't want to have 2 wins after this game, or at least Purdue doesn't. So I mean, there's some motivation to win for Purdue, but they're not great. They're not a great football team this year.
Okay. So Aaron Ken comes back with a shot. He's a Purdue Aggie maker.
Oh, see, like I said here, so I have done the tour of all of the land-grant schools. I had my undergrad at Clemson, and then I moved to Knoxville with my girlfriend, now wife, while she was in vet school at University of Tennessee. And then we went to Texas A&M for 7 years. And then we moved to Manhattan, Kansas. I also write for the Bring On the Cats the Kansas State website. Check me out over there. So that's another reason why I'm familiar with Nebraska. They like to talk about y'all still. And
my God, man!
Right, and now I was in Manhattan for a couple of years now. I'm in Athens, Georgia, so I've got a lot of college apparel.
What crimes are you staying ahead of? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I don't know. I'll tell you this though. My wife
sign stealing. I was the one in the stands. My wife is a veterinary pathologist, and so maybe we have a racket because she can get rid of dead bodies real fast. That's what she threatens me with. Well, Wade Farr says, "What the hell is a vet pathologist?" Can I answer this?
You can go for it.
Okay, a vet pathologist is somebody who determines how animals die, and it's very important because if you look at how we have animals now, we have massive feedlots full of cows, we have pigs thousands at a time confined to pig, the pig barn. I don't know what they call them, pig silos, whatever the fuck they are. And if a pig drops dead, they need to know immediately what the hell killed that pig.
In case you have to kill all the other pigs.
Yeah, because thousands of them are going to die if they don't understand why that pig died or why that cow died. Did I get it right?
That's right. That's what she does. She can cut the head off a horse in 5 minutes or less. So I don't mess with her. She's real smart and lethal. And she has a biodigester and an incinerator. So if I go missing, they're never gonna find me. It's all good though. I'm married way up.
All right. Well, I know nothing.
This is gonna be on Dateline someday, where they're like, and then he went missing.
Somebody's gonna ask, was there signs? Yes, there were signs.
He talked about it on the CornNation podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Oh God, where do we go after this? Okay, what else have we got in the Big Ten West? Purdue is what, 2-5?
Yeah, 2-5. 2-5.
You've got wins against Virginia Tech, and you beat the shit out of Illinois. How did you beat the shit out of Illinois?
We didn't turn the ball over for the first time, and that helps a lot when you don't just. And we scored in the red zone, and like I said, that was the first game Ryan Walter just took over. We just pounded Luke Altmaier, just beat him up. Like the end of the game, they were just dragging him out. So that is why I'll say that is what Purdue's defense does: is they beat up the quarterback if they're playing well.
Oh my God. Okay, Iowa, you lost 20-14. Why did you lose?
We lost because we couldn't score. Iowa did their Iowa things. Like we just the first half, we were cold and just put on like an absolute clinic on how to lose to Iowa. Like if you were to be like, how do you lose to Iowa? Watch the first quarter of the Purdue game. That's how you lose to Iowa. You get in the red zone and you don't score, and then you throw and you give them the ball. Like you commit turnovers where they like the worst they can do is kick a field goal. And that's what Purdue did for Iowa is they just did fell into the trap. DeJohn got an interception, ran it back, and they were in field goal range, and that's what happens. Iowa just beat you to death in a boring way.
Wisconsin, though, you lost 38-7. What the hell? Why did you lose to Wisconsin? I mean, Wisconsin, they almost lost to Illinois last weekend, but they didn't. They brought it out the end. They had some. Who else did they get beat by? Anyway, they're not doing the greatest either.
No,
you gave up 38 points to them. I'm sorry to bring all this pain out. But,
they all run. Excuse me, they all run together now at this point. Like I don't know, it's between Clemson and Purdue. I'm in deep college football depression. Yeah, that was just one of those sort of steamroller games where Purdue was in it, and then all of a sudden they were not in it at all. In Wisconsin, we just can't stop them for whatever reason. When we play Wisconsin, it doesn't matter who's coaching; they just steamroll Purdue, and Tanner Mordecai played well. He ran some in that game. I think he ran for a couple touchdowns, and it was one of those where Purdue got down, tried to get back in it. Committed some turnovers. Okay. The lead kind of ballooned, and then at that point it was over. Okay. Wade Farr comes back with, so if she doesn't know why deer stumble around to die, she's the one that came up with deer wasting. It's chronic wasting disease instead of exactly what it is. I'm guessing that no, Wade, she did not come up with chronic wasting disease. No, she did not come up with a prion-related brain issue, I don't believe. If she did, we didn't make any money off of it, so she screwed up. And so I'll ask her about that after this. Make sure. Maybe she's holding out.
Exactly. You can ask her, did you come up with chronic wasting disease? There's a technical term for it.
No, it's
like encephalopathy.
Yeah. It's nasty stuff, man. We don't have it in Georgia, but they were, they were real careful about it. In Texas, they have to worry about it because I don't know. Have you been to Texas?
Oh yeah.
They have all those live game ranches where they're just like, oh, you can come. We've got like these weird things in cages, and you can put like paint on your face and go like crawl around and let your guide shoot them for you. But they escape all the time, and so there's just all kinds of weird stuff.
The guys escape, or the things you're supposed
the
to
things escape. The weird things escape. There's
I think it's feral hogs. The people I know in Texas hunt.
Oh, there's so many feral hogs.
Yeah,
they're so tough to kill, man. Those things are smart, and they don't taste good either. So they make good sausage.
Okay, what do we miss? Purdue special teams.
We can return kicks, kind of. If Tyrone Tracy's is good to go, he's a good kick returner. Other than that, our field goal kicker has been injured. I think he's coming back. He wasn't great when he was not injured, and then our other kicker was also not great. So not great would be a good way to describe the kicking game for Purdue. Punts, nothing has been substantial. I think it's probably just mediocre punting, terrible kicking, and decent returning. So cheers.
Okay, Fred Sacco says Drew just described Northwestern hazing. And I think this brings more. Look at what the hell?
What's wrong with the Big Ten? It's so cold up there. Is that
shit.
the problem? It's just cold up there, and y'all get bored and do just bad stuff.
I live in Minnesota, and there is just drinking galore going on in the cold.
It's too hot to do that here in Athens. It's too hot. We speed a lot. Apparently, that's like the player. We speed a lot, but it's too hot to commit a lot of crimes here because it's like
right. Yeah, you do know why people go ice fishing, right?
Because they're masochists?
It's because they go out to these basically homes on the.
They get away from their wives and go and just hammer cases of beer.
They just get wasted out in the. Oh, I caught some fish. That's
why we go hunting. That's why we go hunting.
Okay,
I'm going to the deer stand, baby.
Minnie says, Drew, you sound like you need a new team to root for. Come join us.
God, man, I've got so many to keep up with already. Like, wow, like Clemson football is just dirt, just bad. Oh my God. And then like Kansas State's fun, and Purdue, and just like I already cheer for some kind of cursed teams, so I don't know if I need another cursed team in my wardrobe there.
Fred Sacco comes back and says, I feel like Drew is trying to lull us into a false sense of security. This is how I usually describe our team to people.
So here's the deal. I have had to watch a lot of Purdue football, and it has not been fun a lot of the times this year, especially when you're like, oh my God, there's so many better games on. And this is just like, I'm going to watch us get just slaughtered by Wisconsin. But in the Iowa game, I was looking for a screwdriver to give myself a lobotomy because it was not worth watching. Wasted some brain cells there. And so, I don't know. It's a bit of
Wade Farr is just hammering here.
He's on top of things today.
Is a Boilermaker like a Cornhusker something that doesn't exist anymore?
I don't know if they make boilers for trains anymore, because that is what a Boilermaker is. It is a factory worker who makes train parts, because apparently that's what Purdue used to recruit to play against. I believe Wabash College gave Purdue that nickname because they said that they were just playing against a whole team of Boilermakers. Meaning that Purdue was just using factory workers on their college football team.
Did you know they used to be called the Cornfield Sailors?
I wish they still were. Because I feel like I could make a lot of cool shirts for the Cornfield Sailors.
I went back through. I've done a bunch of history videos about the 1890s, 1869 and stuff. And when you go back to terms in those days, Cornfield Sailors was actually applied to Purdue. But it was an insult. It was basically, I think, harvesting crews that would come through and harvest the corn, and therefore they'd sail through the cornfields. And it was a derogatory term to like migrant workers in a way. But I am guessing 98% of the people out there don't know that.
Well, now they do. Like an extra 1%, half.
Okay. All right, I did that one. If you guys got any more questions, get them in. We're nearing an hour. We usually go an hour. I'm too old to go like our other shows sometimes go an hour and a half, and then after that, I have to sleep for 3 days. Uh,
We're gonna see them like roll in the IV cart for you and hit the oxygen mask here in a second.
The oxygen thing, I'm thinking that is a good thing.
That could be. That could be. I might have to get one of those for the desk.
Do you want to do predictions? We have to do predictions.
It's so hard to predict Purdue games. I feel
maybe... Yeah, but this is where you just throw shit out there. You already threw out the pick 6 thing and damaged.
Yeah, I did. So let me get back in that headspace. Hold on. Okay. All right. Okay, so this thing is going to be like, I think it's going to be like 27, 21, and honestly, I can't tell you who has either score.
You have to pick something.
All right, so Purdue 27, Nebraska 21 is what I'm going with, but it could easily be Nebraska 27, Purdue 21. I have no faith in this Purdue squad winning. I do think they will probably come close to winning and then lose is what I feel like is most likely going to happen.
And then you're thinking it's going to be like 20-21, and then at the 30 seconds left, pick 6, and you win.
Yeah, but honestly, it's probably y'all's pick 6 and y'all win. But I'm going to leave it up in the air because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. I'll be on the talk line later tonight for my psychic readings. So y'all make sure to dial in.
Okay, Deion Pryor has 13-9 Nebraska, which honestly sounds probably like a good score.
Yeah,
Joel Tilson 24-10 Nebraska. David Matney with 23-10.
Confidence. I like confidence. I feel like y'all are getting back up off the mat here.
MK has. Whoops, I missed the thing. MK has a question. Purdue Pete or Little Red, which is the scariest Halloween costume?
Are we talking cocaine Purdue Pete or with the eyes? Because it really depends on which Purdue Pete. Because there's the one where you look deep into those dark eyes and you know that he does damage with that hammer. But I think Little Red is more likely to haunt your nightmares. So I think maybe Little Red. I know that I'm going to say Little Red is scarier.
Okay, hold on a second. I'm adding an overlay. Oh, come on, where is it? Oh, shoot. I have the old Pete for something.
Oh, there it is. Oh, I'm scared of that guy. Like, it's the eyes.
Tell it what I'm gonna prepare the old Purdue Pete so people know what you're talking about. Tell us a story about one of your best days at Texas A&M in the few minutes it takes me to do this. It'll only be a minute and a half.
I'm trying to think about Texas A&M. The thing that you need to know about Texas A&M is there are no trees there ever, and it is 150 degrees. And like most of the days, you just walk outside and just want to die. And on my deathbed, if somebody asks me if I have any regrets, I will definitely groan College Station, Texas for 7 years because, oh my God. I managed to get out without the like crow's feet. If you see anybody that lives in College Station for too long, they look like this all the time because the sun is just in your face and they've paved everything because Aggies hate grass and trees. And anything that is just not oppressive heat, they enjoy pain. And so that's like their thing. They're sick. They're just sick people, I think. I have a lot of Aggie friends, actually. And they're weirdos. I mean, I love them, but they're super weirdos.
I remember 2 names. The Dixie Chicken and Dudley's Drawl.
Oh, I think I still might hold the record for throwing an Alabama fan down the sidewalk at the Dudley's Draw. I got good distance. I got belt loop, back of the shirt collar, full swing, launch, and then his girlfriend punched me. So that was during the Alabama game. Alabama fans are weird, man. And so that was a fun Texas A&M story.
Okay, are you ready for this?
Sure.
I want to prepare everybody for it. Just take a breath. Here's what you're looking at. I don't know what the hell that is.
That's okay. You know, I said Little Red, but that's it. That's the scariest thing I've seen all day.
That is the old Purdue Pete.
Oof.
I
Like,
don't think
that's like
Nebraska.
nuclear. Like that's. I feel like that's something you see in like Fallout. Like that's definitely like nuclear. Grew up in like nuclear waste, and that's what happens is you turn into old Purdue Pete.
Nebraska had one terrifying mascot back in the 1920s. It was Corn Man.
Oh,
But otherwise, our mascots. I love Little Red. I am a Little Red lover because I think he's cute and he's fun and he can bounce on his head. But okay, let's see here. We'll get Purdue Pete looks like a meth head. Yes,
it's possible. So that part of Indiana is known for their methamphetamine.
Okay. Andy Harris, 45-17, Nebraska. Purdue gets a late TD.
Ooh,
Wow.
Spicy.
Yeah.
Bold.
Ted Hilker, 20-19, Nebraska.
Oh, yeah, I think that's probably closer to reality.
Okay. Fred Sacco, because he's always here, 24-10, Nebraska if we don't turn the ball over and don't lose the rest of our offensive line and wide receivers.
See, that's funny because I think I've actually said that about several Purdue games where I'm like, I think we can win this game if we don't turn the ball over and we don't lose any more of our offensive linemen and the wide receiver plays like is healthy. So
you know that Nebraska has lost since the beginning of the season. We've lost 2 of our top 3 running backs. I think we've lost 3 starting offensive linemen. Our top 4 wide receivers. There's 15 people that have been injured. There's a stat out that like from the beginning of the year depth chart to now, most of the offense has been replaced. So it's been interesting.
Yeah, Purdue's offensive line. We lost our right tackle, Imbo, who is probably our best offensive lineman. And we just don't have, he was a guard. He's probably a guard. Our left tackle is definitely a guard. And so, and then our center is hurt most of the year. It's been rough. The offensive line has not, it's playing better than it should based on who's playing on it. But Jeff Brom could not recruit offensive linemen to save his life. And, I don't think he stopped trying in the last couple of years. And so it's just our center and then it's bad. It's real bleak. It's real bleak.
Shea Blatarski says Huskers win 6-4, all safeties.
I hope that happens. I'm a Purdue fan, but if I could see Nebraska win 6-4 and all safeties, I feel like that's something you tell your grandkids about.
Fred Sacco says that looks like Bob's Big Boy with a brick on his head.
Maybe Bob's Big Boy after he took a brick to the head. It looks like maybe Bob's Big Boy after a bar fight. Okay.
Joel Tilson says, will Kirk Ferentz fire his son offensive coordinator?
I hope so.
I don't think he will.
It's real tough, right? How do you... That's kind of probably why I wouldn't hire my kid unless I knew he was a badass. Because how do you be come here, son, get your shit and go? Because it's bad. It's real bad. I think it's more likely that Kurt Ferentz rides off into the sunset and Iowa starts over than him actually firing his son. I think he's coming to the end of his run in Iowa. I think they're kind of tired of the same product.
You'd think that, but then they keep doing it.
Well, I mean, if you told Purdue fans, I'm going to guarantee you win 8 games for the next decade, but you want to stab yourself in the eye every game, I think we take it.
Okay, this is the last bit, and this is kind of obligatory when we're talking with a Purdue person. Are you a basketball fan?
Of course, they would run me out. I couldn't manage hammer and rails.
Okay.
My best articles are hey guys, there's a basketball game. Y'all should talk about it and just publish. And then that floods. I can spend 10 hours on a football article and 6 people read it. But if I'm basketball is being played, boom. That's the money. That's the sweet spot for Purdue.
So if it's not far away, have people already moved on to basketball season?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right.
I mean,
Ted
we got the
Hilker-
number at least top 5 team in the nation,
Yeah.
top 3 for most people. So, and we've got like just a frustrating football team. So, yeah, people.
Zach Edey's back.
Zach Edey is back, and
Yeah.
he is very large still.
Okay. Ted Hilker asks, is a returned extra point 1 or 2 points? I think it's 2 points, but there is a rare, very, very specific occasion in which you could score a point. I don't think anybody's ever done that. Like a game could finish 1-0. If
Like
the Big Ten West could do it, that it would be done.
It's possible. Year. It's possible for the Big Ten West. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen in Iowa, I think. I feel like Iowa Rutgers 1-0.
Yeah. Okay, I'll make a prediction. Let's see. I'll go 20-16 Nebraska. I like the pick 6 idea, but we haven't done that. So, we haven't done it. We've done so many other things. Maybe that's your most painful. Maybe you're just like, because what's happened with Nebraska is before under that guy we fired, we learned how to lose shitty games. And now we are learning how to win shitty games.
And so I feel like that's a good step in the right program. Yeah. I feel like Matt Rule won a lot of shitty games at Baylor. Yeah. I feel like he kind of got an NFL job because he was really, really pretty good at winning shitty games. Because, you go look back at that Baylor team. That's kind of why I liked him. Y'all picking him up is they didn't have a ton of star power. It's not like he had a, 5-star quarterback leading the way. He just sort of ground teams down. I covered Kansas State, so I covered a lot of those Matt Rule teams. And, yeah, it was just sort of a slugfest. And so I feel like that's probably Nebraska's identity more than anything, or at least the one they should get back to.
Oh, here we go. Husker Chuck with no 1 point safety is possible on an extra point, but that would mean a TD has been scored. Officially, a forfeit is 1-0. Well, we don't want any forfeits because we need to watch bad football.
Right, and we're not Michigan, so we're not stealing signs, and so why would we forfeit? But I feel like maybe they should against Purdue because I don't want to play them. Because we already got smoked by Ohio State. I don't know why we have to play 2 semi-pro teams in one season.
Okay. Is there any closing comments, any closing thoughts for you?
Let's see here.
Are you going to Lincoln?
I am absolutely not going to Lincoln. It is my favorite time of year in the Southeast. I'll probably hang out in my yard and drink some beers. And then it is Athens will be bopping with the world's largest cocktail party. And there's always fun stuff to do around here. So absolutely not. Okay. I lived in Manhattan for a while. I got my fill of the Midwest.
There is a VDL at University of Nebraska now, so your wife could get a new job.
We're good. I think I used to have to walk my daughter to school in the mornings because we live close to the school, and I come back and my beard would be frozen. And I grew up in like Aiken, South Carolina. That's tough for me. I had to hibernate for like 2 months. Like I just got in a sleeping bag and like zipped it up and laid by the fireplace. So I'm going to try to avoid the Midwest. No offense, y'all. Very nice people, though. And my daughter loves the Buroks. She misses those the most.
Okay.
I think y'all call them Runzas.
We're going to... What's that?
I said, I was talking about my time in the Midwest. My daughter loves Buroks. She got a couple at a Kansas State game. Buroks. Do you know what Buroks are? Uh-oh. Are these in it?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah, they're like Runzas. They are Runzas. Yeah, she loves those. It's the same thing, except that it's just a different culture. I think B-Rocks are German and Runzas are Czech. I'm making that up to make myself sound
I think that sounds right.
Smart.
That sounds right.
I'm going to look up this weather thing real quick. Okay, I'm going to try to look up this. It's been internet fixed, and it is still... Come on. Okay, it's saying search city or zip code, and it's not letting me do anything.
Hold on, I got you.
Okay. Okay.
right there.
You have a clacky keyboard, man.
I type really loud. I have like really big hands, and I'm a loud typer. But,
Oh my God, this still isn't coming up. This is ridiculous.
well, we're almost there. We're almost there.
Okay.
10 day. Here we go. Okay, here we go. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, PM snow showers. So I will absolutely not be in Lincoln. No, sir.
Oh my God, really? PM snow showers. The game
That's
starts
what
at
it says.
2:30. So
High
the end of the game could be a sloppy, horrid, icky mess. In which, do you want to?
Wow.
I will. You know what? If I was going to bet on this game, I would put the over under at 8 turnovers.
That I feel like Purdue tries to turn the ball over without it like snowing and being like 30 degrees. And so yeah, I could see Purdue, because I feel like Purdue is good for like 3 turnovers like on a pristine day. So I think we could probably get to 8 definitely. Chance cold rain and light snow. That's why with the first year we lived in Manhattan, Kansas, it rained on Halloween and I was ready to pack the van and move because or snowed on Halloween. I'm sorry, snowed on Halloween, and I was ready. I was ready to leave. It snowed on Halloween and Easter, both that year.
Oh my God. Okay, I think that's it. I think we're done. I think we know more than Purdue and Nebraska, more about that than we probably needed to know for such a great, fine football game that's about to be played Saturday.
This is what college football is all about. Two crappy teams rolling around in the mud, in the snow, and sleep. So I feel like I may have to make my daughter watch this game and be like, baby, this is Big Ten right here.
You know, how old is your daughter, if I can ask?
She is 9 years old.
Okay, you know what? I have 3 kids. They're all adults now. What my job was, I saw my job as a parent was to prepare my children for the cold, dark, sick world they were going to live in. And I can't think of a better way as a father than to do that for a 9-year-old than to force her to watch Big Ten West football.
I mean, really, honestly, I spent my entire life, my dad was like, this is character building, son. Just suffer through it. And so I was like, but we can't lose another tournament game. He's like, just watch it. It'll make you hard. It'll kill your insides, and then you'll be able to make it in this world. Keep watching Purdue basketball.
Look, and you turned out okay.
I mean, okay, so it depends on who you ask. But I think I'm pretty awesome. So it's all good.
Yeah, okay. Well, you've been a good guest, Drew.
I appreciate it. At least I try to be, if you got to have some humor if you write about Purdue football and Purdue basketball, because you got to be like, okay.
God, yeah. All right. Aaron, last comment. Aaron Keene says, is John giving out parenting advice? It's the end of days. Yes, it is. It is always the end of days. But before it's the complete end of days, we get to watch Purdue take on Nebraska. Memorial Stadium at 2:30 p.m. Central.
The final seal could be broken there when the gun goes off at the end of this game, because it could be a complete abomination to the sport of college football and sports in general around the world. I feel like this could be a war crimes game where it's just like, oh my God, don't need to burn this video because nobody should ever see this.
So what you're saying is the gun goes off and Gabriel blows the trumpet.
Yeah, he's like, I've seen enough. This is irredeemable. This world is over. 12 fumbles is all I can handle. We're starting over. We're starting over. It's over.
It's time for the lizards to take control.
Yes, we made a horrible mistake with this human people thing. We need to.
Okay, that's it. Good night, Drew.
Good night. Y'all have fun. See you on Saturday. Good luck.
All right. Take care.
Yes, sir.